Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the Diatone GT-M2.5. This is the 2.5-inch micro that I've been waiting for quite a while. I highly anticipated. I knew that was coming. I've seen photos of this actually from a while back, from more than a month ago, but I was told not to tell anyone about it, so I didn't. It's probably the first time you're seeing this. I don't think anyone else has this yet. And this is basically a sort of shrunken down version of the M3 with all of the V2 upgrades. It's got basically the same aluminum cage that the M3 is based on, but instead of separated arms, it's just a single bottom plate for 2.5-inch props. And I think I'll get your measurements of the bottom plate in a second, but it's the same sort of H-style frame that it's the normal X the M3 came in. I don't know if a stretch X version of this is coming out. I know that they will have a plus version of the 2.5. But they actually didn't tell me if they were going to make a stretched X version of this. In any event, yeah, they basically upgraded, or they took all of the guts from the M3. So you have the 25 amp 4 ESC, you have the Fury F4 flight controller. Those are the same things that are in the M3 version 2, and then this has the upgraded 25 amp 4 ESC with the current sensor on the 4 ESC. So there's no current sensor on the XT30 anymore like there was previously in the V1 generation. And then this has the version 2 stack arrangement where they have the TBS Unify up on top on this little plate, whereas before it was on the bottom. That's the version 2 setup. But they've also, and this is something that I haven't seen before, is they put the TBS Unify on a board here. And it's kind of hard to see. It's on a circuit board that they soldered the TBS Unify to, and then there's this extra capacitor there that is attached to that board, so that's providing some video filtration. And then they have the capacitor that's on the back side that's attached to the 5-volt rail of the flight controller, and that was something that I showed you in the GTR90 video where I did the V2 upgrades, where I rearranged the stack and then added that capacitor to the flight controller to clean up the video. So that's also included in this one. This is basically all the V2 upgrades for video noise and the upgraded ESCs, and also the upgraded flight controller. They've switched away from the 32K flight controller with a 32K gyro. Now they have an 8K flight controller with the MPU 6000. So tuning is going to be a lot simpler, less twitching and stuff like that on this particular hardware setup. You get the same cameras before, obviously the same cage. It's exactly the same. In fact, it's completely interchangeable. They have this video transmitter antenna that was over here. I actually put these antennas up like this. This one was zip tied to the side rail here, and then this active portion of the antenna was up against the side rail. So I actually just reversed it, moved it around, put a zip tie in the back standoff here, and then heat shrunk it to the zip tie to keep it basically away from the frame, so that when it's transmitting the video, it gets less blockage from the frame and the side cage here. So this is something that I did. You don't have to do that. You can just leave a zip tie to the side rail if you want, but I think you can get better video reception if you move it up to here. And then for the receiver, I'm just using a standard XM receiver with a single antenna. And I have the antenna heat shrunk to the zip tie here on this standoff. And then they've included a buzzer right there. You can't see it. It actually comes, the buzzer comes separate. It's not actually installed from the factory, and I'm not sure if I can get that to show. It's right there. There's a space there that you can put it in, and then there's a small connector that comes out right there. If the camera can focus properly, and there it goes. It's right there. So there's a little. Basically, it's like free. It's just kind of like floating, and it comes out from this connector on the flight controller, and you can use that connector to plug in the buzzer. And then I just have the buzzer basically. I use some foam tape to stick it to the bottom plate there. So I kind of told them they should have the buzzer installed from the factory. I guess they made that an option. You could install it if you want. Yeah, but I'd recommend just putting it on there because it fits in there perfectly. And I got the receiver in there as well. Obviously, if you lose your quad in some deep grass or somewhere, can't locate it, in a tree, for example, then flipping the buzzer switch on your transmitter might save the day, assuming the battery is still connected, of course. Now, the motors they're using on here, I haven't mentioned them yet. They're Sunny Sky motors, obviously like the other ones on the R90. These are the 1106 6500 kV, and kind of curious choices. Why they went with a 6500 versus the 5500. Now this can do 4S, and I flew it on 3S and 4S. On 3S, it's way fast. It's in fact it's faster than the Hornet 120. And the tune that it came with was okay, a little on the loose side. I think I could tighten it up a little bit, but I'm not going to go into tuning in this video. I think that they're probably still tweaking it anyway, because this is kind of still a prototype. It's not exactly a final version. So I'm not going to really... I'll show you the PIDs at some point in the future, and if there's interest in that, obviously leave me a comment below so that I know that you're interested in watching that video. But back on the motors here, 1106 motors, 6500 kV, so higher kV than the ones on the Hornet 120. Those are 6000 kV 1106. Obviously, you want to go with the 1106 on the 2.5 inch prop here, the Gemfan 2540. But on 4S, and they told me that this is totally spec'd for 4S, and I agree. They have 25 amp 4 on AC. It'll burst at like 30 amps, so no problems in terms of the ESC getting fried. And on 4S, the 2.5 inch prop is no problem on this motor. The motors do get pretty warm, but they told me that that's normal. And so if you run this on 4S and experience pretty hot motors or pretty warm motors, that should be not a problem. The motor is designed to run warm. Now the issue is that when you're running a 4S, the battery lead's too thin here. I told them they need to upgrade this. It's a 20 gauge wire. This needs to be, if you're running 4S, it needs to be like 16 gauge wire or 18 gauge wire minimum, because the battery connector got pretty warm when I was flying on 4S. On 3S, everything was perfectly cool. I had no issues whatsoever. And so it's kind of interesting. I'll show you both the 3S and 4S flights. If you guys can tell me if the 4S is a lot faster than 3S, I'm really curious to know about that. Let me know in the comments below, because I'm not so sure that it is. Now, I flew the 3S flight on a 550 3S, and then I flew the 4S flight on also a 550 4S. So, but the flight times are way different. So on 3S 550, I got 3.5 minutes approximately, and on the 4S 550, I'm getting like 2 minutes. Of course, you know, I'm pushing it pretty hard, and yeah, but you can judge for yourself and watch both flight demos, and then you can tell me if you think that going to 4S is really worth it. I think 3S is plenty fast, and this is the advantage of this model over the Hornet 120. And so I've been sort of pushing the Hornet 120 all this time because it has been my favorite 2.5 inch, and it's now been replaced by the Diatone GT-M2.5. So I'm officially letting you know that my favorite 2.5 is now the M2.5, or yeah, 2.5 inch micro is now the M2.5. That's a lot of 2.5s. So the biggest reason here is that the Hornet 120 can't do 4S at all. It has a 13 amp ESC, and I think it bursts to 15, but it's a 2 to 3S LiPo limited ESC. So I think that if you plug in a 4S battery, I think it actually fries or burns the ESC. I haven't tried that to actually verify that, but in any event, the amp draw on a 2.5 inch prop on 4S is way over the limit of 13 amps. So this is, they recommend not flying this on 4S, and I haven't, and I don't recommend you do that either. But I mean, it's plenty fast on 3S. I had no complaints. It's a great flyer on 3S. But if you want the joyride, I call it the 2-minute joyride because I don't know of any batteries that can go more than 2 minutes on something like this, some kind of battery killer setup. If you want 4S, then you got to go here. And this is spec for that, and it can handle it. So that's the biggest reason why I'm switching. And yeah, it's because it has the capability of going 4S. Obviously, design, the flight characteristics, all the components are top notch here. TBS Unify, Smart Audio, F4 flight controller, MPU 6000, 25 amp 4 and AC, so it's all good stuff. Comes with the Gem Fan 2540 props, although I only got one set, although hopefully they'll include more than one set in the production version. We'll see. There's a few things that I suggested that they change, but I'm not sure if there's enough time for them to change because I'm pretty sure that they've already announced that this is going to be going on sale, so they may not make any of the tweaks that I've recommended because I just gotten this about a week ago. So in any event, I'm going to show you some flight demo footage. I'll have some more videos on this. If you guys want some tuning videos, let me know. I'm pretty sure that once this comes out, people will start asking me for that. But yeah, leave me comments, and yeah, I'll go and show you some flight footage, and do let me know if you think that 4S is that much faster than 3S. I'm not really that sure. Anyway, here you go. Here's the flight footage.